Before we start off talking about our personal experience, we just want to let you understand that we did not use the same names of the youth we were talking about. We want to make sure it's confidential and that their story can still be heard without feeling they're being exploited or anything else. Jessie, what is your experience?
So my experience, my ex-boyfriend's sister who transitioned into male, Michael, he came out last year and told everyone that he was transgender. He is still in the process of transitioning from female to male, and it was quite an experience for me. It was my first time meeting someone who was transgender, but I was very supportive and very happy for him, as I could see how much more happier he was being himself.
Do you remember how you were told about it? Like, who told you?
Yeah, so I actually saw on Facebook that his name had changed from his female name to his now male name. And I had messaged him asking what that was about, as we were really close, so it was okay for me to do that. And he explained to me that he was going to be going through the process of transitioning into male. So we had a quick conversation over text about that, just asking what his next steps were and how he was planning on doing it and stuff like that. If he was going to be going on any of the hormones and stuff like that. And he decided he was. He wasn't going to be getting any operations or anything like that, but he was going to be transitioning as well. But he, and then we did have a conversation in person about it. He was just explaining to me why he felt like he needed to do this at this time and how he was feeling about it all. And I was super happy for him and excited and couldn't wait to see the process for myself as well.
How is his relationship with his family now? Did it change a lot?
It did. His mother was always very supportive. When Michael was female, he came out as gay. And then after that came out as transgender. So we had been through the process of him saying that. So she was very supportive. Both his father and his brother were a little bit more taken by it. It's a little bit harder for them to understand. But they've come around. They've been pretty supportive. They just have lots of questions that he has no problem answering.
Right.
The hardest thing, I think, for them and for me as well was the pronouns.
Right.
Which is pretty hard. I would say it, and then I would say, oh, no, I'm sorry, like, he, or something like that. And he was never upset about it. He wouldn't say anything if you did call him by his previous name. He would just kind of let it go, and he understood that people were trying to.
Do you know if he reached out to any local supports or any kind of, like, media supports?
Yeah, so I know he has a couple people on YouTube, just like Gigi Gorgeous, that he follows, and kind of they kind of help him understand what he's going through as well, because it's a huge change for himself as well. And he also goes to a group downtown somewhere. I cannot remember the name, but I know he goes, I think, twice a week, just to help. Yeah,
so that's great that he has somewhere to go besides just the family.
Yes.
Because it's going to be full of a room with people that understand and who are struggling with the same thing.
Yes, yeah, and that's another thing. He says that there's lots of people there who are just like him, that he can relate to. So it's nice that he has an outlet outside of his family and friends and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to add to Michael's story?
I think his story's still going on, so it's hard to me for me to have an ending. He's still going through different things and different changes in his body, like physically and mentally and stuff like that. But he has a good head on his shoulders, and he's doing really well. And he has a lot of family and friend support, so it's been helping that along as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now you get to tell me your experience.
Well, I was kind of brought into it as a third person. So my boyfriend's best friend is transgender. When we started actually making wedding plans is when he told me about it. He was very, like, apprehensive about it, and then he kind of sat me down and he mentioned that his best friend went from male to female. She identifies by a different name now, and that she doesn't really have any association with her family anymore because of it. They had met when they were young teens at a camp when they were counseling, and one year she had brought extra stuff to help put on weight and other kinds of pills, and he was very confused by it. He didn't mention anything then. kind of let it go. He wasn't too sure. He didn't want to be touchy on it. She called him that week after and asked him to call her, but with the schedules, they weren't able to meet up. So he actually found out over Facebook chat.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, so just so you know, like, I'm going to be a girl. He was kind of taken back, not too sure what to say. He found it was very easy to accept. Unfortunately, her family did not accept it. She has no ties to her parents. Her siblings still talk to her, but she's completely changed her first, last, and middle name, everything all together. It's great to see that she has such a strong support with her friends.
Yes.
I'm incredibly supportive of it. I think that she's phenomenal. She's currently doing hormones to try to put on weight as well to actually get breasts and everything else. The biggest struggle that he actually had was, he's like, I don't understand if you're gay or straight, and what if I call you a he? Are you going to get mad at me? What's going to happen there?
Yes.
It's touchy, but she's been great with everything. Even I actually find that I sometimes say he just because I've heard so many stories of them when they were a kid. But she's not, like, weird about it at all. That her biggest struggle still is she actually doesn't use the bathroom anywhere still. And she's been a female for at least 6 years. And she will not use it anywhere because she hasn't had any surgeries to alter her penis to vagina. So she's at the point where she still feels incredibly uncomfortable. She either will go before she leaves somewhere, hold it, or just, as a lot of people say, use a porta potty because it's fine in there. That was heartbreaking to hear, because you would think after being, like, who you are for 6 years that you could be who you are anywhere you go. But like we mentioned earlier, we found that there was a picture we had to include because it's still a huge issue, and people don't understand that it's just a bathroom. A porta potty is a bathroom for both genders, and no one says anything.
No.
But it seems to be a huge issue because a sign on the door says you're not allowed there.
I feel like with humans and all, we have to label everything. Everything has to have a label, and I don't exactly know why. Especially in the transgender community, they don't want to be labeled most of the time. They are who they are, and they're happy with that, and I don't know why everyone else can't be.
It's odd, and then they assume that if you are transgender, you should dress more like the other sex again. I don't know if I should be like, does she want to be in a dress at the wedding or in a tux at the wedding? You know what I mean? Like, there's still, it seems to be so, like, hush-hush about everything that you have to ask so many questions just to understand where they're going. But it's amazing to see, like, someone who's been transgender and fully transitioned, but, like, for 6 years, and then hear another story of someone starting off as a young teen, moving out on their own, as you mentioned before the video too, just to be like their own space. I would say that although it is really hard for our youth, they have a lot of different avenues than they did before. I know when my boyfriend worked at the camp with her, they actually didn't welcome her back when she was transitioned. They said that because you transitioned and we're a Christian camp, it wouldn't be a good call for you to come back, because when you were a camp leader here and on the board, you were a male, and that's not something that we approve of. So it was crazy to hear that someone's job of years was taken away because they wanted to be who they are. And I feel like that's what a lot of people are facing now, is that they need to be quiet about who they are and how they feel out for work's sake, for
family
emotional,
sake.
Family, everything. Like, it's such a big thing, and when we hear it, we're like, why aren't they saying it? But there's so many reasons why they're not saying it.
Because when they do, there was a huge percentage online was that they can't get jobs. Because a lot of companies don't want that kind of person in the workplace, and they think that it's going to confuse things or steer away from business, or but then there's so many complaints that are people, why aren't people telling us? Why aren't they living their lives? Like, we're very accepting, but really a lot of our community is not accepting of transgender youth or anyone that's a little bit different. Like,
it's black and white, and there's no gray. But that's why in the struggles we wanted to talk about how their acceptance is a huge issue, and that's also why youth suicide rate is so high. They feel like they are alone even in a crowded room. The issue with the bathrooms is in huge debates places,